UFC Fight Night, the Mons. Sandhagen versus Figueredo takes place this weekend, and I'm predicting and breaking down every single fight in the card. We're going to start off with the prelims, and we're going to start off with the prelim opener of Julian Miller versus Ivana Petrovic. Now, Julian Miller going into this fight is 3-3 in her career, which is a pretty poor record. 3 wins, 3 losses. You've broken even. I don't know how you're even in the UFC at this point, but whatever. We'll let it slide. She's quite aggressive on the feet. We can give her that. Not really much technique to back it up, but she's aggressive, so we'll give her brownie points for that one. Petrovic is just more well-rounded. She's going to mix in the takedowns this fight, and I think she gets this one done. Not really much finishing potential, though, on either side. So I'm going to go via decision. I think Petrovic gets this one done. Obviously, more well-rounded, mixing the takedowns. She's going to get this one done by decision. That's my prediction. Moving on, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned blob-off. Thomas the Blob Peterson versus Dontel Blob Mays. Both of these are morbidly obese heavyweights. Now, Peterson, he's got a huge height disadvantage in this one. Dontel Mays, he's 6'6", big reach advantage of 7 inches. Peterson, he's 6', 6'1", I think, probably closer to 6 foot if we're gonna be honest, with 74 inches of reach. He's gonna mix in the takedowns. We already know he's gonna mix in the takedowns, and obviously being the shorter fighter allows him to shoot takedowns better because he does have a lower center of gravity. So obviously we talk a lot about, 100 men versus a gorilla, who's going to win? Listen, if I have to fight a giraffe, I'm shooting double legs. I'm shooting single legs. I'm getting all 4 quads. I'm getting a quad leg in, the first ever quad leg ever recorded, and I'm landing that takedown. So obviously Thomas Peterson, he's going to shoot for double legs. He's going to probably get below the hips on Dontel Mays. I think he takes him down. I think he mixes in the takedowns. Obviously, no power in his punches whatsoever. I'm going to go for a decision win for Thomas Peterson. I think he gets this one done. Granted, Dontel Mays, he moves all right on the feet. But he's got like a weird style where, like, think Yuri Proska's style without any of the benefits and all of the negatives. And you've got Dontel Mays. So I'm going to pick Thomas Peterson to win this one by decision. Moving on, we've got Ilia Abtoro, okay, versus Quang Li. It's Ilia Topuria. It's Ilia Topuria if Ilia was like 40 years older. Hopefully you see what I'm saying. But we got Gaston Bolaños versus Quang Li. What are my notes for this fight? I've got Bolaños winning by decision. He is better on the feet, I think, compared to Lee. Honestly, I'm going to be real. I'm not too confident on this pick. I'm going to pick Bolaños to win this one by decision. I believe this is a pick'em. But Lee does kind of get complacent with his striking. So if he slows down a little bit, I can see the momentum shifting to Gaston Bolaños in like a 29-28 decision where he like steals it because Quang Li has got a little bit slow in his striking. Maybe like slows down a little bit. Honestly, really, I'm grasping at straws here. But I think Gaston Bolaños does get this one done by decision due to a momentum shift in the second round. That's my prediction for this fight. Moving on, we got Marina Rodriguez versus Gillian Robertson. Now, one is much better on the feet than the other one. Rodriguez, amazing on the feet. She's been taken down by every single opponent she's ever faced in the UFC, which is an insane stat. The fact you have a takedown ratio or defense of 0, effectively. So if if Robertson gets a single takedown, I think it's wraps for Rodriguez, and I think Robertson will be able to just turn her up and chew her up like a pretzel on the ground. Amazing jiu-jitsu. I've got a round 2 submission for Robertson via a rear naked choke. Why not? So that's my prediction for this fight. Moving on. Ryan Loder versus Ashmat Bakoyev. This is an absolute train wreck of a fight. I'm going to be honest here. It's going to be an exciting one nonetheless. Bakayev just tends to swing with 0 technique. I mean, there's been times where he's fighting and he's swung that hard that he's wiped himself off balance and taken himself off his own feet effectively. So he's like, imagine someone swinging a big overhand right, so much so that they lose their balance and fall over. That is Bakayev striking in a nutshell. As for Loder, he tends to be a little bit more, not complacent, but a little bit more relaxed in his striking, but he then just kind of sometimes just goes for a finish out of nowhere, where he just, he hunts down a finish effectively. So this one's going to be fun. They're both going to be gassed out by round 3. I think Bakoyev catches him in round number 2 with one of his massive just swinging right hand, just lands on the chin of Loader and puts him out cold. But it's going to be a fun one nonetheless. I can see it going the other way, but I think Bakayev catches him with a big overhand right. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Yanis Santos versus Miesha Tate. Once again, Santos is really terrible takedown defense, and if Miesha Tate mixes in the takedowns pretty well and works herself decently enough on the ground, she's going to win this one. I think she works her way to a nice, steady 30-27 decision of just grapple fucking effectively. So, yeah, moving on. Main card time, baby. We got the return of Jeremy Stephens, and he's fighting Mason Jones. I believe Mason Jones is also in his own redemption arc as well. Now, obviously, Jeremy Stephens is coming from BKFC, bare knuckle. It's going to be a fun brawl nonetheless. Obviously, Stephens, I'm the real hardest hitter in the 145-pound division. I think Jones has the advantage in MMA rather than just in a strict boxing, mate. But if it's bare knuckle FC or bare knuckle boxing, I'm taking Jeremy Stephens. But in an actual MMA fight, which this isn't MMA fight, I'm going to be taking Mason Jones. And I think Mason Jones gets it. It says round 1 KO on it. I think I might have changed it because I don't think he wipes him out in round number 1. I think it's more of a, what's my notes say? Yeah. So I've actually changed it to a late round 2 TKO or a round 3 KO. So I don't think he wipes him out of round number 1. I don't know why I initially thought round number 1. I think it's because I thought, Jeremy Stephens, he's washed. Mason Jones is going to catch him on the chin. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think he takes him out with a late round 2, maybe early round 3 KO. Yeah, that's my prediction for this fight. I just don't. Jeremy Stephens could also wipe him out. He does have good power. I don't know how well it translates to lightweight, though. So we'll have to see. But it's good to see him back in the UFC anyway. Next up, Cameron Smootherman versus, I'm not going to pronounce his first name, versus Siddy or Sidey. He does kind of look like Sid from Toy Story, so I might just call him Sid for the rest of this prediction. I don't know. Anyway, Sid. So, I've got in my notes, I'll say technical at our fight because they both are very technical. I believe Sid does have the reach advantage here, and he's more technical, and I can see Smoothman just getting bested on the feet. So I can see Sid just kind of going, not really, well, kind of tit for tat, but getting slightly better. So, for example, if I hit you, let's say Smoothman hits him 3 times, Sid hits him 4 times type thing. So Sid will hit him 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a leg kick, and Smoothman will just get 3 hits off him, basically. That's how I think this fight's going to go. I think it's going to be Smoothman's going to hit him 3 times, Sid's going to hit him 4 times. And I think it's going to keep going until we get to ourselves to what am I saying? I need to pattern up here because I don't know what I just yapped on about. I think Sid's just going to best him on the feet to a decision. It's going to be quite a technical fight, quite a close fight. If he keeps out of range, he will just walk his way to a decision, which I think is going to happen. So I'm predicting a Siddy decision. Moving on, Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. Marcos is undefeated. Granted, he has had some close fights. Really, I'm pretty sure his last one was a close one as well. And he's also arguably robbed another guy. So, and he can't afford to get hit by a guy like Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson, he's got power in his hands. He's dropped every single fighter he has faced in that octagon, right? He's got the most knockdowns in bantamweight history, I do believe, or on the current roster, one of the two. But he does have the most knockdowns. He has got power in his hands. And I think Marcos, obviously, he's got that, skinny, fat, South American build where those guys are just unfinishable, apparently. I think Montel Jackson's the first guy to beat him in his career. I think Montel Jackson gets it done by round 2 KO. You cannot afford to get hit by Montel Jackson. It just happens. You know what I mean? Plus, Marcos does tend to crash forward when he's striking and leave his just face there. Like, when someone just charges head first and, what's his name in the featherweight division? Lopez against Volk, he kind of just tends to run forwards at him with his head first. So it doesn't really help, especially when you're going against a guy like Montel Jackson who can just put you out. But I can see him just catching him with either a right hook or an uppercut right onto the chin of Marcos. So I'm saying round 2 KO for Montel Jackson. First guy to beat Marcos. Yeah, moving on. Santiago Ponzinibbio. jeez, man. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel Rodriguez. I'm getting better at the names. I'm still butchering a few of them, but I am getting better at the names. Ponzinibbio versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez does have a stiff style, but but he doesn't really have the power to back it up. You know, there's fighters who have like Pereira has quite a stiff style where you look at him strike. Obviously, he does get into that flow state where he starts moving a little bit and he's moving and he's like dipping. But he does have a stiff style. You know what I mean? You hopefully you understand what I mean. But what's my point here? He doesn't really have the power to back it up. With Ponzinibbio having probably more power on the feet, I think Rodriguez's way to win this fight is trying to make it a war. And when he's trying to push the pace forwards, I can see a slip counter right. You know, like Dominic Reyes on Krylov style that he hit. When was that? That was UFC 314, wasn't it? So if you watch that Dominic Reyes fight where he, slip counter right, I can see Ponzinibbio hitting one of them on Daniel Rodriguez. I wouldn't say you put him out cold, but then one of them followed by ground and pound. I think that will be enough to end the fight, and I think that's how the fight ends. I need to take a break for a second because I'm messing up my words. I think Ponzinibbio hits him with a counter right when Rodriguez, he's down around, going into round two. He's trying to push the pace a little bit, trying to make it a little bit like a war. And Ponzinibbio just slips right hand, puts him out cold. Moving on, co-main event. I love this fight, man. Reina Dorida versus Bo Nickel. I don't know why Bo Nickel is Bo Nickel's pudgy as well. Wow. I don't know why this fight's so close not even close. I don't know why Bo Nickel's a favorite on the odds, like minus 300 favorite or something. That's ridiculous to me. Reina Dorida's got that DDP ass style, you know what I mean? He was a former double champ at one championship as well. His striking doesn't really tend to flow or make any sense at all, but it works, so we'll move. I can see him catching Nickel on the feet and then submitting him on the ground. So the same way you see, who was it that caught him? It was an apex fight between the guy from Democratic Republic of Congo and one other person. It's some random fight. I'm just thinking of it. He caught him with a head kick, and then I think he jumped a guillotine. No, it was a rear naked choke, I think. But he basically hurt him on the feet, and then the other person's as Bo Nickel was scrambling on the ground to just kind of recover and get his equilibrium back. Dorida just hops on his back and submits him. So I can see a round two submission coming out of Reina Dorida. I think he catches him on the feet. Bo Nickel has got awful striking. If you're making it competitive with Paul Craig on the feet, you're not elite at striking. You're not even good at striking. You know what I mean? Paul Craig is he's only good at submitting people off his back. So you're making it close with him on the feet. You're not an elite striker, and you're probably not even an elite fighter at that point. So I think Reina Dorida gets this one done. I think he hurts him on the feet, and then I think he drops him and then just jumps onto either a guillotine or even a rear naked choke. My prediction for this fight. Moving on, main event. I don't rate Corey Sandhagen. I'm going to be honest here. And I also don't think he should be a 5-1 favorite going into this fight. That is ridiculous. That is, I am picking Davison Figueredo to win. I'm just going to stick that out there now. That's really good money on Figueredo, if I'm going to be honest. And especially with how powerful Figueredo is. I'm just going to throw that out there. Only guy to drop Chito Vera inside the octagon. So I'm just saying, Figueredo hits hard. In terms of the breakdown for this fight, Sandhagen is obviously very technical, but I don't really rate him. You know what I mean? He does his outside foot position where he feints at range without any threat of anything happening at all. I broke this down in a fight breakdown the other day. He does this thing where he feints at range, but the problem is his feints don't work because you're so far away that there's no threat of him being hit in the first place. You know what I'm trying to say? Ilia Topuria, he feints jabs in boxing range, so it works. He feints hooks in boxing range, so it works. If you're feinting a leg kick from 6 feet away from your opponent, they're just going to go, okay, well, they're not going to fall for it, are they? They're not going to fall for it because there was no threat of them being kicked in the first place. I think Figueredo, I think it's going to be quite a slow fight. I think Sandhagen's gonna do his thing where he moves along the outside, he jabs, he throws a few leg kicks, whatever. He throws his feints that have no chance of even hitting Figueredo. And then I think Figgy piece him up once or twice, some good combos, and finish with a big shot to end the round basically, and win the round off that. If Figueredo makes it scrappy, mixes in a few takedowns, I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done by decision. I think he makes it a scrappy decision, a scrappy fight. And Sandhagen we've seen this before, right? With close decisions with Sandhagen. I think if Figueredo makes it scrappy, if he lands a few big shots in a round, it should be enough for him to contest that round and win the round. I think he wins this one via scrappy 48-47 decision. That's my predictions of this fight. Sandhagen should not be as big of a favorite as he is. But let me know what you think of my predictions. Let me know what you think of the main event. And I'll see you in the next video. Good.